Did you know that doing comics and selling them on Kickstarter is pretty much us making all these characters that live in our head pay rent? Yeah. Warning! The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and 2 parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming. As you can see there, unlike my regular videos where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay, so another Wednesday already. All right, so let me just double check here. Okay, just making sure that, are we good to go? Oh, look at that. Look at that. So that's what Facebook does. Pushes you into friends the second the stream starts. Okay, so all right, that's good. That's good. And okay. All right. Yeah, there's really no graceful way of doing this. So we're just going to do what we're going to do. Okay. So, hi, everybody. My name is Daphne Lage, and welcome back to my channel. I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist out of New York. And I've been self-publishing comics since 1992. I'm known mostly for my funny animal fantasy comic, Tall Tales, which you can see right here. So this is our main comic that I guess collaborate with JD Calderon. He does the writing. I do the artwork for this. And I'm also now known for my other self-published title that just recently came off of a rather successful Kickstarter, by the way. I like to re-thank, and always thank the 133 of you that backed it. My fantasy soap opera, EGORAVEN, Heir of the First Unicorn, which, just so everybody knows, most of them, about 90% of the books, are out the door and should be in your mailboxes sometime this week. People have already been getting them from the batch I sent out on Saturday. So, feel free to tag me in your posts or whatever if you talk about it. I would love to hear, what you think. I mean, this book has only been 20 years in the making. So, let's get to that, right? So if you're interested more in my 2 comics, you can check them out at my main website, egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can read actually the first 5 issues of EGORAVEN for free. Or if you prefer your fantasy adventure to be more Lord of the Rings type, you can head over to talltalesonline.com. That's TAILS, where you can read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. Which, by the way, we don't have a specific date yet, but sometime in March, we are going to be releasing the Kickstarter campaign for the first 5 issues of Tall Tales Thieves Quest, so that everybody can start the series from the beginning, the way we meant it and the way we intended it. So stay tuned more for that. If you see in the background, that is the cover for the new trade that I'm currently working on. So like I said, sometime in March, but if you go to either one of these sites, you can sign up on our mailing list where you can get updates to when we get a specific date and links to a landing page for that Kickstarter campaign once that becomes available, which should be in a couple of days, because once I finish this cover, I'm going to be like right on top of creating that campaign. So that's going to be exciting. And if you're visiting us from Facebook, you can also check out my YouTube channel, where this is also broadcasting to, at Daphne Lage, Lage art, where you can watch videos on how I make these comics. And when I'm feeling in the mood, sometimes I do some, I don't know, some people say it comes some rather entertaining rant videos. So there you go. So you can check out my YouTube, but all the links that I mentioned here, you can find at egoworks.com right above my head here. Okay. So, well, I have a new setup, or at least I'm trying to make a new setup here. I got a new tablet, which will hopefully allow me to control the stream better. So let me do this. Okay, there we go. There's my ticker. So that we're going to start that right there. And hopefully, okay, so hopefully I can, I can finally read all the comments that pop up now, because it's like I said, this is a brand new tablet, so I shouldn't have any connectivity problems with it. So I'll be able to hopefully control everything better, except for the bird. Just so you know, that's a bird. If you missed my disclaimer, that's a bird in the background. I have no control over him. He's going to do his thing. So, if he blows out your eardrums, I apologize in advance. So, okay. So what's today's theme? So today, I guess before everybody starts asking, in the chat, what are these? These are, I'm not all of a sudden doing, hobo butt fashion. This is, the last time I did a stream, I was coming off of a rather intense work day, and my hands started cramping up. And as someone who needs to have my hands functioning, on a certain level, that was not acceptable. So I got a recommendation from another artist friend online, and these are actually like compression gloves for arthritis. So I've been trying these out. They're a little awkward, but they seem to be helping. So it's like, yeah, because when it comes to my hands, it's like the only thing that I can say is, it's like, what do we say to the god of death? Not today, right? Unless, of course, you're Russ Leach's death, and then it's like, well, anytime, any day, actually. But that's besides the point. So, what are we doing today? So, like I said, all the Kickstarters have been going out. Most of them are out. So, for my comic EGORAVEN. So the only thing that I have pretty much left to do is fill out the orders for all of the sketch covers. So I still have a little stack here. I'm supposed to do 10. I think I'm down to like 8 that I still have to do. So we'll be sketching those out today. And if you did support the Kickstarter and you haven't filled out your survey yet, please do that. I really would appreciate, to get everybody's books to them. So I do have a small stack. It's not a lot of people, but just enough that, you guys need to get on top of it. If you want your books, fill out your survey. So that's pretty much all the housekeeping I have for today right now. So what are we doing? Okay, I think what I'm going to do is, there's a couple of things that I wanted to just babble about and whatnot, but let's sketch out a sketch cover first, and then we can roll on with what we're doing. So okay, so let's get this going. So we're putting, okay. Okay, there we go. I mean, as you can tell, I've pretty much given up on trying to look like, I'm controlling this from a central location and not having to lean over and everything. So, now look, you guys know I'm using Streamyard and it's all back and forth here. So, we're just look, it's like I said before, it's like going to a karaoke bar, right? You don't go to karaoke to hear people actually know how to sing. So you know what? You don't come to a live stream expecting people to look professional on any level. Okay. So that's the vibe we're going with today. So, all right. So let's get started on this cover. So, like I said, wearing these gloves are a little bit awkward because it's really funny because, you would think that these types of gloves, I would still have like the same hand movement, but it's actually, yeah, it's like, it's kind of like, it's like, it's a little weird, like I can tell that there's some restriction, but I just have to get used to it. But yeah, but so far they seem okay, So let's see. Let me get my eraser out. So I guess so the other thing that I wanted to, well, the main thing that I had wanted to start with, but I figure, you know what, technically the sketch covers are a little bit more important, was the fact that I drew out a new character for EGORAVEN, for my character lineup sheet. If you haven't seen it, it's all my characters in that lineup thing that they do for animation and whatnot. So, but the thing is, though, is I know that you guys, I've mentioned that the story, the main storyline, the Heir of the First Unicorn storyline is complete. Yeah, so technically I'm creating characters for something that happens after the main story happens, which is kind of like the annoying part of the whole thing, because like it's like I just got issue 1 out the door and already my brain is past issue 15, because again, I've mentioned that the series, I'm hoping it'll be like 15 issues at most, hopefully. It's like I don't think I can fit the story in anything shorter than 15. But yeah, it's definitely going to be that many issues, and I'm looking at pretty much a 4-year time frame, hopefully, to get it out. Like, because, well, it's a 4, 8, 12, 16. If I do the math correctly, because math is hard. That's why I'm a cartoonist. And you know, so it's like we're looking at 15 issues, 4 trades, 4 trades. I mean, I would love to be able to collect it all into one trade, maybe, you know, I guess depending on how the campaigns go. Oh, hey, so we have, hello, Joe. Don't tell Stinch. No fighting in the chat again. You know, but I still hold to my statement though. It's not a proper live stream until you show up. So there we go. So we're now officially rolling. You know, and yeah, and everything's good. Everything is good. This whole fulfilling the Kickstarter thing has I thought it was going to trip me up a little, you know, more than it did, but no, we're good. We're good. I'm already planning, you know, because you can't stop. It's like I'm already planning what I'm needing for the next campaign. And then it's like, yeah, and it's like once this cover behind me for Tall Tales is done, it's like I'm on top of that campaign too. Because that one we would like to have. I would have liked to have had that campaign come out for Tall Tales Volume 1 for the March 15th, which is the Ides of March, which is honestly my favorite date. You know, Shakespeare's Julius Caesar Julius Caesar is my favorite Shakespeare play. So it's like, the Ides of March always resonated with me. So I thought that would be funny to release the campaign on the Ides of March. Because imagine what I could have done with that in the marketing, right? But unfortunately, it's too close. JD's current campaign for Oswald it's too close to the fulfillment, so we don't, so we're not, that's date is not going to happen. So probably sometime around the end of March is when that campaign, the campaign for Tall Tales is going to we're gonna release that Kraken. But yeah, but I'm already, but the thing is, my brain is already in May, which is the second issue to EGORAVEN. That I'm almost finished putting together the campaign for that. So I just have to actually start coloring those pages and do the video for it. It's like when I've told people why I'm doing so many Kickstarters this year, and it's just like, go big or go home. As much as like, I'm already kind of like cringing, at it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Issue two is done. Actually, issue 5 is done. It's done up to issue 5. I just need to color it. I have issue 6 and issue 7 laid out. And technically lettered, even though I have to re-letter them again because it's like it uses the outdated format that I use, but that doesn't take that long to re-letter. And then I just have to pencil it out. And I'm really confident that I can stay on my schedule for this this book. So it's like, 2021 is issues 1 to 4. 2022 is issues 5 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, to 8, and the first volume trade. Although I'm not sure how I'm gonna fit that. Well, because I know I want to do the trade in January. So I don't know. Yeah, so I have to squeeze in those 4 issues in the rest of the year, along with the rest of the Tall Tale stuff that we're doing. So yeah, we're gonna see how that bottlenecks really quickly. So but if it wasn't for the fact that I didn't have so many issues, like I didn't have so many issues done already. Yeah, I don't think I would feel as confident, and especially now that I have the story arc done, it's like, well, okay, now it's just to do it. So, but like I was saying, though, just got the first issue done, and my brain is already past issue 15. And the funny thing is like, these are stories that I'm still like trying to work out, and like, and how they're going to fit into like the grand, I guess like the overall story. I mean, they're going to be, after issue 15, they're all just continuing stories, but they're more like smaller adventures type. To tell you the truth, it's like I'm kind of like thinking of, like, by then, to just probably just do trades instead of individual issues. I'm happy. Yeah, no, you see, the funny thing is, yeah, I know, right? For the amount of furries that I do, what's really funny? Part of EGORAVEN, I guess, coming to fruition is that it is to force me to draw people. I wanted to create a book where, I was kind of like forcing myself to do things, that I wasn't comfortable with artistically. And drawing people is definitely, it was definitely the main thing. So, so it's like, yeah, it's like, so I'm glad that you're happy I'm drawing people, because, it's really funny. It's like, because of all that, I guess, like, on the job work, practice. Yeah, I think I finally I hit like a what's the word? Not a milestone, but it's like, that moment. It's like when you're trying to figure something out, and then it finally clicks. And that's what happened to me recently by working on this book, as much as I have, like, because I'm telling you, this is probably this past year. Oh my God, it's been a year, because like, what we went in lockdown about, well, here in New York, we went in lockdown about mid-March last year. And then by around April, I was climbing the walls and looking for stuff to do. And then that's when I decided to start coloring EGORAVEN and really working on it. And it's probably the most intense that I've worked on this project. And because of that, something finally clicked artistically for me. And I am just, I'm chuffed beyond words, because it really, when it comes to the characters, it really opened up a lot for me. And it's like, and it's like, it's just one of those things. So yes, it's because of EGORAVEN that it finally all came together. It's it's still coming together. I mean, it's like, I still have a lot of work to do in terms of in terms of just everything, pretty much. Yeah. But it's just nice, finally getting over a particular hurdle and just being able to kind of move on from that, and it's so yeah. So, oh, okay. Hey there. So, let's see. So which marker did you like the best? So I mean, there's I don't know if you're talking about like the multi-liners or like the regular markers, like for coloring, but I'll tell you, either way. So right now for multi-liners, which is what I'm going to use on this piece, because I don't use my rapidographs on the sketch covers, especially like this type of paper. I only use my rapidographs on Bristol. So yeah, it's just that, yeah, I don't know. The ink bleeds too much on this type of paper. It like does that feathering thing when I use rapidographs. So that's why I use the multi-liners. So the multi-liners that I like using is the Pitt pens. There we go. So these, yeah. I figured if they were, who was I watching using this? Was it Steve Rude? Oh, it was somebody. And it's like, I figured, oh, if it was good enough for them, it's good enough for me, right? But the thing is, what I like best is that this uses actual India ink in the pens. So you get like a really, really nice line. And in terms of what markers that I use, most of the time I'm using, I'm just using my regular Prismacolors. I do have Copics. I do have 2 sets. I mean, I'm not going to say otherwise that I don't, but it's just 2 different techniques. But Copics kind of irk me because I think they're really overpriced for what they are, being imported. But I guess because they're imported. I mean, as far as I know, they're not made in the United States. So, we're talking about the difference between, I can buy Prismacolors for like $3 a marker, where in Copics I can buy, it's like, if I'm lucky, I can buy it for $6 a marker. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that comparison video as to like the difference between the Prismacolors and the Copics. And in the end, which marker you use depends on what you're actually doing with it. Okay, so here we go. So we got a nice juicy question here. Okay. Should I stop building up my characters and scenes from the basic skeleton and just draw it directly? I see others start drawing while I draw the skeleton first. I always do the skeleton first. Well, at least not necessarily the skeleton, but like the base pose. I'm always doing that first. God bless anybody who could just draw their character straight on the page. We know a guy who could do that, and it was always amazing that he's had that confidence of line to just draw the character straight with no construction lines or anything. But I can't do that. So if that's something that you feel the most comfortable doing, then by all means continue putting in those construction lines. Draw your skeletons, sketch everything out. Draw your boxes for your backgrounds. I mean, it's like that's how you plan out your page. That's how you plan out your piece. So you want to make sure that everything's correct without having to sit there and don't make more. I mean, it's funny because it's like you would think that drawing the skeletons and all those construction lines is actually more work. But the thing is, though, is that what I find is just the opposite. If I don't have them, it's actually more work for me because I have to guess where everything is or guess how everything's going to go. I mean, this sketch I have in front of me, I drew the construction lines in because I needed them. And it's like, that's what it is. Um, yeah, it's like, don't make the process more difficult for yourself, really. If you need those construction lines, use the construction lines. If you need the skeleton, use the skeleton. I mean, really, it's going to take a lot of practice for you to get to a point where you can just draw something straight. And it's like, but then sometimes that doesn't happen either, because it's like you want those construction lines anyway. So I wouldn't worry much about that. Like I said, whoever can just draw straight without the construction lines, bless them. God bless them, because it's not me. And you know what? And it's okay that it's not you either. Okay. So we got this. I think I'm going to leave this. I'm not going to ink anything yet. I think what I want to do is I want to sketch in everything, and so at least I can ink everything all at once. So I'm just going to put this to the side, and we're going to start on another cover. Oh, yeah, exactly. You see, that's, let's see, with me in perspective, kind of forced to do it. Yeah, it's like, that's exactly, yeah, and due to the characters, you want everything to look correct. So, yeah, that's what the construction lines are for. You want, you want to plan out your thing. And the construction line, that's just what they are. I mean, nobody lays down bricks without plotting it out first. So yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. I wouldn't worry too much about it, and that's another thing too, really. That whole thing is that we really are in the habit of sometimes we really are in the habit of fussing a little bit too much as to what other people are doing. And I think that sometimes for our own mental health, we kind of have to kind of let that go sometimes. What am I doing? I'll get that tape later. Because it's like sometimes it's one thing to study other people, and their techniques and whatnot, but we have to be careful we don't start obsessing on it, and then we start suffering from, I guess, like a variation of decision paralysis, or just like, that it's like, well, they can do it and I'm struggling, so why should I bother? And it's like, well, of course, because you bother because they bothered. They didn't, they weren't, there's no artist that sprung from the head of Zeus fully formed, knowing how to do this stuff. Everyone had to bother. So the trick is not letting them being ahead of us discourage us from still running. It's like, look, I guess like an example would be like, I run half marathons, and I'm not even a middle packer. Okay. I'm all the way in the back. It's like I'm running my half marathons in 3.5 hours, and it's like when you have people in the front, you have the, you have like the elite guys and whatnot all the way in the front, who it's like in an hour and a half, they're on the bus to go home. It's, and it's like, I can't worry about them. It's like, okay, you did your half marathon in an hour and a half. That's great. I can't do that. It's like, I think I could train. I could train like an Olympian, and I probably would never be able to run a half marathon in that time. I'm lucky. I'll be lucky if at one point I can actually get down to like 3 hours. I'll be incredibly lucky if I'm able to do that. But I can't worry about the people in front of me. I'm heading in that direction. I mean, I have that going for me. I'm going in the same direction they are. I'm running the same amount of miles they are. It's just that it's taking me longer to do it. And you know, not for nothing, at the end of the race, I still get the same medal they do. Not for nothing. So yeah, so it's like, so even though, you know, it takes longer for us to get to where we want to be, we're still getting there regardless. So yeah, so it's like, yeah, so try not to get too hung up on what other artists are doing. I know there are people who out there who, you know, just looking at their stuff makes you cry, and then you find out they're like 16 and stuff. So it's like, look, you just gotta let that go. You know, it's like, look, we're all on our own journeys, and we'll eventually reach that finish line, you know, but it's the same finish line as everybody else. So you know, that's, you know, so yeah, so just, you know, just be careful with that. Just be careful with that. Because also it's like, you know, we have to also be careful with the stories we tell ourselves. You know, like I understand the thought process behind, like, you know, that it's like, oh, you know, like, okay, so I'm excited at finally, like, it finally clicking for me, for, you know, it's like, okay, I can draw guys now. You know, at least to my satisfaction at this moment. Like, that was the thing that clicked for me. It's like I finally figured out, you know, like, to me, what makes a male character look like a male character, and I'm just like completely excited at the concept. Do I draw like Jim Lee? Do I draw guys like? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, that's not where I am. You know, it's like, you know, I'm just hitting the you know, the 3.1 miles mark on the half marathon route. You know, that's where I am. You know, so you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, it's, you know, but you know, the thing is that it's you know, easy to say also. It's like, well, you know, it's okay if I suck. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm not Jim Lee, you know, it's like, whatever. But, you know, you got to make sure that you don't start believing that on a certain level. You know what I mean? That it's like, it's one thing to be self-depreciating, to kind of like help kind of like hold, you know, like keep your sanity for a bit, you know, but you don't want to completely believe it either, you know, because it's like, yeah, you know, because like, you don't want to start believing that it's like, oh, I suck. You know, it's, yeah, you want to be careful with that. I mean, it's like the artist that I was a year ago is not the artist I am now. You know, and you know, and it's like, and I don't want to disrespect that in a certain way. I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, I told you that we were going to be sketching and babbling. So that's pretty much, you know, what's happening here. As I lay down my construction lines, trying to figure out the pose that that I'm trying to get here. But yeah, just I guess as general advice, just be careful with the stories you tell yourself. because you might start to believe them, and we don't, depending on the story, it might not be a good thing to do. Let me just check something here, because I'm kind of okay. So, all right, I just want to make sure that that everything's working the way it's supposed to. Let's see. So, oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay. So right now I need to block out or figure out those who want me further than where I'm at. Yeah. No, you have to. They have vision for what I do, and yeah. It's like, no, that's true. I mean, it's like, look, like I said, you're gonna get to where you need to be when you need to be there. It's like, as long as you're still practicing and and doing the work and putting the time in, the whole 10,000 hours thing, as long as you're doing that, you're still in the game, you're still in the race, you're still making your time, so that's all we can do. Yeah, no, I completely get you. Yeah, especially, yeah. And the thing is too, yeah, especially since, because you know what it is, it's like, I find it, I guess it's like, because we're such solitary creatures that it's very easy for us to get stuck in our heads, as opposed to, like, I don't know, it's like I find, like, interacting with other artists in person, it's like, we're all sitting at a table and drawing and whatnot, to be a lot more affirming. That's not really the word that I'm looking for, but, like, just encouraging. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and yeah, it's like, I never understood that. That it's like, that it's like, well, can you draw like Jim Lee or something? And it's like, no, you should be Joe. You should draw like Joe. It's like, I'm not drawing like Arthur Adams. I'm drawing like Daphne. That's who I am. There's already an Arthur Adams. There's already a Jim Lee. What's funny is that it kind of reminds me back in furry fandom. A lot of the artists, especially the new ones coming in, were obsessed with, well, at the time, I guess, like, the top dog furry artist in the fandom. I'm not going to mention any names. If you know who I'm talking about, then that's good, But there was like an artist that was the artist everybody wanted to be. That was the artist that, was getting all the commissions and was selling all the artwork, and that was the thing. So what happened was that all these artists would come in and they would all try to emulate her. But the thing is that then they couldn't understand why they weren't making the same type of connections as her and whatnot. And it's like, because she's already doing it. It's like, you're just being a copy of her. It's like, so it's like, why would people invest in a copy when they can just go to her and get the genuine article? So in the end, you know, the whole thing is that you want to be your own genuine article. You know, you don't want, I don't want people coming up to me saying, well, can you draw like Jim Lee? It's like, oh, I'd like your stuff better if you could draw like Jim Lee. And that makes no sense to me. It's like, well, go collect Jim Lee artwork then. You don't need, it's like, what, you want a cheaper version of Jim Lee? You don't want that. It's like, come to me when you want a Daphne piece. You know, come to me, you know, when that's what you want. You want a piece that looks like Daphne did it. You want a piece that looks like Joe did it. You know, it's like not a piece that looks like Joe drawing like Jim Lee. Not a piece that looks like Daphne drawing like Arthur Adams. You know, it's like I mean, it's the whole be yourself thing. You know, be you. Be the best version of you. You know, don't. Let's see. Oh, let's see. There were some of your works that you painted with paints. Is there something? Oh, well, I do have. There's some pieces that I have done traditionally with like watercolors and colored pencils and whatnot. Unfortunately, I don't have anything like readily accessible to show, because actually most of the time those pieces are like they were either like really, really like fancy commissions, or I just have them put away because I don't know what to do with them. But yeah, it's like mostly I would use like watercolors with colored pencils. But I don't really do that a lot because they're time consuming. Hey Jake, Stinch is in the house. Hello, waves. Um, oh, just got out of the Viking game. Hopefully there weren't any real Vikings involved, considering where you live. So, uh-huh. There you go. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do like another cover here. So, you know, still doing the Kickstarter grind as you're coming in. You know, and oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. Valheim is an addicting game. Okay. I guess I would have to look that up. It's like now I'm thinking, so it's a video game then. So that's the funny thing, because it's like I haven't, you know, like played video games. I mean, I find it very difficult to Oh yeah. We'll make sure to bring the libations, you know, next time. You know. That, you know, ever since I really it got like really intense again with lockdown, you know, for a year. That I've been finding it very hard to concentrate on media like video games, like TV. Like I'm lucky I'm able to watch anything. Because what happens is like I get so wrapped up in the whole, I could be doing, I should be doing my own stuff. It's like, why am I watching somebody else's stuff when I should be working on my own stuff, Um, so yeah, so it's like, I don't know if anybody else has that issue. Like I don't consider sitting in front of a TV relaxing. Um, everything has to like end in how is this going to serve my purpose of creating my own entertainment. Oh, hi Emily. Hey, thank you. Yes, we're working here. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to oh, so did you guys like the music only stream I did the other day? Did anybody watch it? What did you think about that? I'm trying to figure out how to do one for digital art. Like just to stream me working in Photoshop, because I got a lot of that coming up. Like I said, I have to start coloring issue 2 of EGORAVEN. So yeah, so it's like might as well, share the love on that. Yeah, but so the thing about having my brain at past issue 15. So yeah, barely got the first issue out, and already, I'm working. I'm like hashing out all these ideas for what to do afterwards. And like and creating characters and whatnot, and I have a couple of ideas as to what I want to do after. It's just consolidating everything, because it's like it's a lot of ideas and not all of them are viable. I mean, it's like as probably like little vignettes, sure, but yeah, not everything is worth the effort to put on paper. So I kind of, have to like narrow down which are the more entertaining and more feasible ideas. And then it's like, what's funny is that it's because like the worst part about it is that I can't really get into detail because you guys only know my characters from an issue 1. And even then, a lot of you didn't get your issue 1 yet, because I just put them in the mail. And here I am just dying to talk about all the nonsense I'm coming up with. And it's like one of two things. It's like, is it a spoiler if nobody knows what I'm talking about? Am I really spoiling anything? If it's like, when I'm doing the equivalent of, it's like a god of mischief, a god of lust, and a god of war walk into a bar with a unicorn. It's like, with that, it's like, does that make any sense? Even though that's kind of, what's percolating, in the future. But okay, I think this sketch, okay, I think this one is, yeah. All right, I think this one I'm done with. Well, done in the sense that it's sketched out, so I could just go ahead and ink it. Let's ink these at the same time. I don't know why I'm obsessing with this tape. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that. Just gonna leave that. So, yeah. So I don't want to be completely boring at this live stream. You know, drawing this pretty much the same character 10 times on a stream. So let me so let me bring up the whole, you know, 3 gods and a unicorn walk into a bar type thing that I'm working on. So what I did was I created a new character for one of these stories that's percolating at the end of issue 15. So look at it like this. This is only an encouragement for everybody to support the campaigns so that we can get to issue 15 faster, so that all of this would make sense now. Yeah. So it's like, so halfway through, you guys are going to go, oh, that's what she was talking about in that stream, you know, a year and a half ago. Or something. So this, okay, so this was one of the things I do want to ink this in. So I'm just hoping that my gloves don't get in the way. So one of the things that's part of the mythology of EGORAVEN herself. Oh, what? If people should complain about you drawing the same character. It says, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Actually, I'm only drawing her 8 times. So, you know, although I think my record is drawing Oswald 27 times for one of JD's campaigns. He had the brilliant idea of having all of his issues be sketch covers. And I don't remember if he limited the sets that we were selling. And well, we started limiting them afterwards, that's for sure, because it's like there was one campaign that it was just like never ending Oswalds. That's all it was, you know. You know, if you think trying to figure out poses, you know, 8 times is bad, you know. So, you know, and the trick was that, you know, those sets were going to the same people. Like so I had 6 covers going to the same person. So I would have to sit there and figure out literally like 6 different scenes so that the final covers weren't boring to the person getting them, you know. So yeah, exactly, you know. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, really, it's like the last time I saw that many mice, we had an infestation and they ate a lot of our books that we had to throw out. So yeah, so really. Okay, why aren't you behaving? Ah, there we go. Okay. Like I said, new tablet. So the character I have in front of me is my iteration of the goddess Ishtar. She's the goddess of war from Mesopotamia, I think it is. You know, so she's also, you know, what's funny is that she's the goddess of war, and she's also the goddess of sex. So it's like, oh, great. Okay, I can maybe work something with this. So, but I chose her more for the goddess of war aspect because, you know, because why not, right? So it all started when I was watching, I don't know what I was watching. I think it was a trailer for the Loki show that's eventually going to show up on Disney Plus. And I'm sitting there and I'm like going, damn, I really want a Loki of my very own. You know, so Ishtar, yeah. Eventually, she's not in the main series. Like I said, this is my brain going past issue 15. This is my brain, playing around with ideas, and it's like, oh, let me get this out on paper to see, to see what I can do with it, or how I can fit this in. So I'm watching Loki, the Loki trailer, and I go, I really want a Loki of my very own. It's like, why should I sit here, standing for somebody else's character when I can make one myself? So that's what I ended up doing. And then it's like the idea just kind of like morphed into, it's like, well, the mythology of EGORAVEN is that she can access this is this is exactly my brain on Ishtar. So EGORAVEN can access this dream space, and this space is right now she can't voluntarily go there. She has to be called or summoned or something. So the dream space is where all the gods and their guardians and everything resides. It's literally a dream space. And she has access to it for some reason. And what if, so I started playing around with the idea. It's like, what if there were some gods that just happened to like need to get involved? That it's just like, oh, there's this little weirdo here. What is she doing here? It's like, and so combined with me wanting to make my own Loki, which is what I did. Concept that come to mind is playing Havoc. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing I'm trying to work out. So what I did was, so I started playing around with the idea of other gods. So it's like you figure, it's like Loki, god of mischief. It's like he always, messes with humans and the mortal world. So now he has, through EGORAVEN, this link to the mortal world, which also lends to a conversation that we started, that a bunch of us were having recently, about the concept of fantasy rules and believability versus realism in fantasy, which I should probably do an entire video on that. Just because, like, it's a lot of people confuse the two. They confuse realism with believability. And one of the rules I have that I decided to come up with in this dream space is that gods cannot come to the earth unless they're on their own sacred grounds. So if there's like a shrine there, or they have it has to be consecrated grounds that they can walk on. And depending on which god you are, there could be parts of the world that you have absolutely no access to because nobody worships you there. So I had to come up with a loophole for this to work. And like I said, EGORAVEN has access to this dream space, which means that they can use her as a conduit to access the mortal world without needing consecrated grounds. So I started, looking up all these different gods, just to, let's see, which system are you using, high or low magic? I'm using my own magic, really. It's like, it's my own, kind of like my own rules, that I'm just, that kind of makes sense to me in terms of world building, because it's like, I don't want to kind of like completely grab other people's stuff. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to be anal about it either. So it's like, I want, I want the rules to be mine. Like the whole, like the context of the rules are my world rules, not based on outside of my, it's like, look, it's like, if you just accept the fact that my fantasy world sounds like it was created by a 12-year-old girl, it'll all make complete sense. It'll all make complete sense. So, but it'll make complete sense, because it's my stuff. So yeah, I didn't want to get like wrapped up in, high or low or although, if it sounds great while you're high, it's probably, that's probably it. So like I said, so I'm grabbing some gods here. So I figured, okay, let's play around with some gods with this concept. So here, okay, so here we have EGORAVEN for scale, but also, in comparison to the other gods. So here is my Loki, which, so I finally have a Loki of my very own. And as I was, like researching some other gods, I was for some reason thinking about Cupid. And so I looked up Cupid and then found out that Cupid was really it was like a derivative of Eros. And what's funny is that in Greek mythology, Eros was also considered a god, a mischief god, because he was constantly messing with mortals and the other gods. And he especially had a fondness for making people of opposite personalities fall in love with each other. So he was just a pest. So I came across another pest. So I decided, it's like, you know what? Why shouldn't the pest gods hang out together? So now I have Loki and Eros hanging out together. And I kind of like imagine them, borrowing EGORAVEN to go on like different adventures in the mortal world, kind of like, we're going on an adventure because now we can, type of thing, kind of like, a road trip type of story, if you're old enough and, those Bing Crosby and Bob Hope movies, road trip movies, and all the shenanigans they go into. So that's what I was thinking. So then, so it's like I came up with those two to be complete pests to EGORAVEN while she's in the dream space. And then eventually when they use her to gain access to the mortal world. So I'm playing around with that. And then it's like, so it's like, so, okay, we have a god of mischief and we have a god of lust. And I go, damn, it's like, I really wanted someone else. Like a god of war would be good, but it's like, I didn't want to use Ares. It's like, that would be too obvious. And then that's where Ishtar comes in. And the funny thing is that because Ishtar is also the god of sex, I decided to, goddess, I decided to make her friends with Eros because, of course, who else would be? Of course, they would be friends, right? They have, that in common. But she's also the god of war, which I wanted to portray more in designing the character. So that's what I have, right? So this is what I kind of have right now. It's a variation on. So the costume that I have. Those are that's a good combo. Damn. Yeah. Shiva, Loki, and it's like that's a really good combo. So it's like, so she's Eros's friend. So the design that I came up with was, this is her in her more like human form, because it seems that like all the gods, they have like these different, they have like their human form and their god form kind of, and then they have like, and then I put in like their battle form because, that's, why not design? It's like, yeah. So it's like you have you have to each god has 3 forms in what I'm putting together. So this would be her human-ish form, because her goddess form, she has wings and she has, feet like talons, like an owl. um you know and her goddess form. But in this design, I wanted more like, this is how she would look in the mortal world, but still retain parts of her, like symbols of her goddessdom. you know so that's where's my pen. So that's kind of what I came up with for her here. So, it's kind of like a combination of, yeah, I did like a whole combo of like more regional, because she's not supposed to be literal, as if a goddess could be literal. So yeah, so it's like, this is supposed to be my version of Ishtar, not an actual anthropological representation of her, because in the end, it's like, if Marvel can have their own version of the Norse gods, I should be able to do the same thing. So just like Russ Leach has his own version of death and the Four Horsemen, and it's like, yeah, it's the same thing. Also, another book that had given me this idea to that inspired me to kind of like pull from this is Michael Odin's Elysian Fields, because he has his own Achilles. He has his own versions of all these, of Gilgamesh and all these characters. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that I can definitely do that. So that's and why not, right? So as you can see, I'm using the Faber-Castell Pitt pens to ink. And this is Hammermill cover stock, 60 pound. Like it's considered a dupe for the Copic marker paper. So if you're into that type of if you like using that paper, this would be a cheaper alternative to it. Oh, okay. Yeah, here we go. I was doing Kid Krishna. Right, yeah. I was like, I know I'm not the only one with, I'm not doing anything new here. Same thing that Krishna has a young kid form, a god form, and an armor form. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's those little things that those little rules that, make sense to us. Yeah, so it's like, so part of the reason why it's like I'm playing around with this, because it allows me the opportunity to kind of like just be really, if I needed to, be kind of generic with the story. I mean, after the fact, instead of like being tied down to a main storyline. Yeah, always in threes. Yeah, right. Always in threes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so it's like, so this way it's like I felt that with this concept, it would give me a little, it would give me more freedom with the stories that I'm playing around with. But like I said, it's kind of weird talking about it now because it's like you guys barely got the first issue. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to like kind of get more of an idea, you just go on the website and read the first 5. But I mean, but even then, it's like, this is still like very ahead. And that's kind of, and that's kind of like the frustrating part on doing like a long series. Is, it's like, oh, is it spoilers? Am I spoiling anything for people? It's like, does it mean anything to people? It's like, because technically you guys don't really know the characters either, so it's like, all of this could just, we probably just spent the last hour just me babbling nonsense to you guys. It's like you're just sitting here going, it's like, yeah, she's sketching, but she's also saying all this stuff that doesn't, I don't know what it means. Yeah. And also like another reason why I chose Ishtar over, because it's like I thought like, oh, Athena is too obvious, and I already have a Greek. It's like I already have a Greek god, and I didn't want to like pick everybody from that pantheon. It's like I wanted, it's like I just wanted to just mix it up a bit. Although, it's like, like I would like to be able to bring in Athena, and then Eros is like going, "Hi, Auntie." It's like really, it's like that's how the vignettes happen. I get like a stupid like scene in my head, and it's like, okay, how do I put this into context? So I just write it down, like completely out of context, everything. And it's just because like, oh, this is so stupid, it makes me laugh. Let me not forget it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. So Babel is a creative class exercise. Okay, so I don't feel too bad. All right. And it's like, yeah, always pocket that would, yeah, it's like exactly, just pocket what's good now, use the rest for later, save. I mean, it's like, yeah, technically that's what this sketch is it's kind of like me babbling on paper. Technically, that is what sketching is technically. Um, so it's like, so what I want to do is, so it's like I want to, have her in my lineup. So the next time, you see this, so she's going to be, in the lineup. It's like I'm kind, it's like probably around like the same height or something, but gods are always going to be taller than everybody. So, what's funny is that I didn't realize it's like, oh, I made EGORAVEN damn short, but that's fine. That works for me. But it's like I was a little surprised. It's like, oh, she's so short. Although technically, according to the chart, she's still taller than me. So that, I guess that works out. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I think a story arc at a time. Just like I don't talk about Elisa's heritage or her mom, I'm still want to write the complete story. It's kind of, yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's like the worst part is that I have all these sketches too that they crack me up, and I shared some of Loki on Facebook, and especially the conversation between Loki and Eros explaining the God rules, pretty much. That's on my Facebook page, because like I felt it was generic enough that I could put it up without feeling like I was like oversharing about the characters. But yeah, I have some very specific ones that it's like I wish I could share, but I can't, because it's like you really do need the context of the main story for these sketches to even make sense, and technically they would be mad spoilers, and it's like, oh, okay, I have to draw the line somewhere, literally, right? Oh, here we go. Is that always true about gods? That's some Zeus story where he was human. Oh, well, Zeus is infamous for that. That's how that's how the world ended up with so many demigods. It was because dude, that's a different story. Jake, that's a different story. Although maybe I should start a different live stream late at night. So okay, back to Zeus. So yeah, so Zeus is that was the problem. He was constantly messing with humans. So am I really outing myself? I mean, is he really outing me when I kind of like am kind of more than happy to out myself? I mean, you know. You know, what you think House of Bob is a standalone? You know. Oh boy. Where was I? Zeus. Yes, speaking of horny, Zeus. Okay? That was like that was pretty much his thing. You know, was messing a little too much with people, especially the ladies. So, you know, that's you know, although what's funny is that I had someone explain to me that it's not really Loki who's the trickster god, but actually Odin, because trickster usually is applied to Zeus, yeah. Is Peach? Well, you know, it depends on which version of that book you're seeing. Right? Like, you know, and then Zeus was the LOL watches. Yes, yeah, exactly. So what was explained to me was that trickster actually means a god that interacts with people. Although I've heard two definitions. It's a god who regularly interacts with humans. Which they said that technically Loki is not a trickster. It's Odin, because it was Odin who would always interact with people. Loki just lived to antagonize other gods, or the other gods. He really, as far as I could tell from what I was reading in the mythology, that he really didn't interact with people, with humans, but he was a pain in the ass to the other gods. So, but you know, it's like, but that little like detail really wasn't. I mean, there comes a point where it's like you kind of you do have to throw away the information you don't want. You know, like I said, I'm not doing, you know, anthropological studies here of actual god mythology from other cultures. It's like I'm literally just swiping. Oh, well, yeah, I guess you would know, right? Right? Yeah, you would know. I'm sure you know the mythology better than anybody in the room right now. I'm just messing with it, you know. But yeah, but there comes a point where you just have to kind of like toss out the stuff you don't want. Use the stuff you want. I mean, it's like, look, Marvel definitely, is just using what they want. It's like we're talking about loosely based. Talk about loosely based. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, Nita. Yeah, it's like so. I did. I I did a couple of more EGORAVEN sketches. I'm now working on another character that I'm probably going to fit into the story somewhere after issue 15, and so that's what we're working on now. We're working on my iteration of Ishtar, the goddess of war and sex, that Jake and Joe are giving me a hard time about. Oh yeah, it's like don't culturally appropriate. Yeah, well, look. We'll deal with those details when we get to it, right? So where was I? Oh yes, that I'm not doing actual anthropological studies here. That I'm just literally taking what entertains me about the characters and just making my own versions of it that eventually will interact with my characters. Well, they're technically all my characters now. That they're just, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like I'm just, character designing, character creating. Because I just wanted, I wanted these characters to give me an opportunity to be a little bit more free with the storyline later down the road. Like I said, instead of like being locked into the main storyline. Also it's like this is kind of indicative of being like way too excited about my own work and really, and just wanting to share it. I just so yeah, Nita has to go feed her people. That's that happens. You gotta look, when you need to take those naps, just take them. I mean, it's like that's what you need to do. It's like there's no reason to apologize for naps. And yeah, we are trying to keep the stream PG-13. We only mentioned House of Bob a couple of times, you know. And also, in the end, choosing Ishtar as a character to put in my book, that's only asking for trouble. Yeah. So yesterday I saw Lola on the Indie Volt show. So I am assuming Geekasm is going to happen tonight. I just have to contact her to make sure. Because if that's the case, I will be there. If you want to continue listening to me babble about stuff. So, man, but it's like today went by really fast. It's like, look at that. We only have like a half hour left on the show, and it felt like I didn't do anything. I mean, it's like I was working on that Tall Tales cover that's behind me. I'm almost done with it. It's like it's what's funny. It's like the original artwork for that Tall Tales cover is from 2001. And somewhere in the past me decided to just go over the lines and beef up the inking on it, which in the end worked out really well because like I still felt that the cover still held up because I really didn't want to do a new cover for the new trade when that artwork still holds up. So I'm almost done coloring it. So at least I that was my main to do for the day. So it's not like I wasn't not doing anything. But it's just like, dang, it's like, just the fact that we're in February already. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's like, I don't think my brain has gotten past like last May, to tell you the truth. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it's just kind of funny how it's like, we don't have anywhere to go. And it just seems like time is just going by faster. Because sometimes I think we're still in January. And then I look, it's like, oh no, we're almost at the end of February. Yeah, so I have her and Eros wearing these scarves that's meant to represent their wings, the wings that they would have in their god form. Oh yeah, yeah, same here, same here. Like, it's the 80s is not 20 years ago. But that's a whole different issue. Yeah. It's like, you ever see True Detective on HBO, the first season? And one of the lines that gets repeated is like, time is a flat circle. And it's like, until we went in lockdown, it's like, oh, now I understand what that means. Because it really is. It's just like, ugh. But on a side note, I'm really happy the new tablet's working out. It's like, I've been able to read everybody's comments without an issue. So yeah, so it's like, so as far as I know, yeah, yeah, as far as I know, it looks like the Facebook comments are still not coming through on StreamYard, but I am seeing what's coming in on StreamYard. So it's like, I guess like YouTube just still manages to be the best place to comment. Oh, hello, Jack. Oh, hello from Ireland. Oh, it's like, so we have a Scandinavia and Ireland here. So it's like, yeah, that's very nice, very nice. We are drawing right now. I am inking in a new character for my comic that's based. That's pretty well, not based. It's pretty much my version of the goddess Ishtar, who right now, for the sake of the stream, is technically a goddess of war, among other things. So I'm just inking her in here. And then it's like, once I ink her in, I'm going to put her into a character lineup that I have to just pretty much, you know, put her as this is a new character. It's just that the irony of it is that whatever story I use her in isn't going to happen until after the 15th issue of EGORAVEN, which is where, like I was saying before, is going to take me about 4 years to kickstart and release the whole series. So technically, I'm drawing a character that you're not going to see until 4 years from now in the story. So, just one of those things. Oh, and by the way, it's like in here, so we get an entire live stream of me drawing a people. So there you go. drawing actual people ish characters. Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, yeah. It's like you know, it's fine. Go study. We still have to do all our adulting stuff on top of everything, right? So I'll see you in another video then. So thanks for coming by, Jack. Yeah, people. Yeah, so there we go. People are good. People are good. That's the best thing of hitting that little milestone. That that artistic milestone. That it's like there just comes a point where it just gets easier and easier and easier the more you do it. And in the end, it's like that's just all it is. It's all about putting in the time. There was a video, a TikTok video that I saw from Oh Hey DJ. And he was talking about, it's like, oh, you want to, to all the artists out there who say they want to make a comic, you actually have to sit down and draw it if you want that comic to exist. That's, you want to do a comic, but you actually have to do it. You have to put in the work. It's, you can, what is this? Someone had answered saying, it's like, imagining that anime opening to your comic isn't going to make the comic just appear. So you actually have to sit down and draw it. So that's what it is. Like, you put in the time and it will pay off, I mean, it's that simple, but it's obviously not easy. That's another thing that a lot of people misunderstand. Simple is not easy. It just means the basic concept doesn't require a lot of yeah. I mean that yeah, except those might be the ones that feel a little too real after a 10-hour shift. Yeah. There we go. Well, and for those of you interested in a little update on my gloves, I mean, so far they seem okay. The only thing is that they just make my hands sweaty. But so far it seems to be, I guess I'm just getting used to, just drawing with them. Raise your earphones. Oh, I forgot that top part. Yeah, she has like these 2 rings in her crown. Okay. Alrighty. Also, the trick is not to get too noodly with the inking, and adding more detail than I really intend to. What's really funny is that I was doing some sticker designs for the next campaign. So like I said, I'm already in May in my brain for the second issue of EGORAVEN, and I'm doing a whole kind of sticker series for that campaign. And what's really funny is that I did the character lineup in a way to simplify the character design. And then it's like I'm doing the stickers, and then I'm finding myself even simplifying the designs even more, which was kind of funny to realize. I mean, because I still think that they still fit the initial designs that I came up with, but it's just like, okay, well, there's a little bit more detail that I really don't need to have if I'm going to do these characters over and over and over again. Yeah, so there's my warning. Okay. So we still got 10 minutes. So I'm just going to keep going at this. Really like to I really like the way this is coming out. Oh, hey, Pops. Yeah, I'm just about winding down here. Yeah, did some sketch covers in the beginning. Nothing serious, just literally sketching them out, so at least I can have 2 to ink at the same time. And right now, just inking in this new character I designed. That's my version of Ishtar, the goddess of war and other things. Because we're trying to, in spite of what Jake and Joe in the chat are doing, Yeah, we're trying to keep the stream 13, like 13-ish. Well, did I miss something in the chat? I'm sorry. I mean, I got gloves right here. So unless you guys are talking about something else, I want to kind of finish more of this before we go. I'm probably definitely going to do another music live stream. Just getting work done. I'm going to see if I can do some, I'm going to do it so that it's a digital. Either I'm working more on the Tall Tales cover, or I'm starting to color in issue 2. So we'll see. Or just more sketch covers, because I really do have to finish those. I'm about 90% fulfilled on my Kickstarter, so I really want to get everything out this week. Yeah, well, I technically got 2 days, 3 days, 4 days left. Yeah. So at least that way I can like go into March. Well, maybe. Do I have to say it? Do I have to say it?
Fuck.
It's just there we go. So there's your F-bomb. Yeah. Also, it's like I've been putting together ever since I figured out how to do it. I've been putting together these clips just for that. So humor me. Didn't think I would need to use that one so quickly. Well, I have to admit, I am happy with the way the new tablet is acting. Hasn't pooped out on me once. It's like, and there's a little bit of a delay on it compared to the computer, but nothing crazy, but it's enough for me. It's like, I can still, I can see all your comments without having to keep looking at the screen over here. And it wasn't that bad. It's like, it's the Samsung, whatever, the Samsung 8 tab 8 or whatever. And, it cost me $100 at BJ's, and it's like, they just opened up a BJ's near my house. So I went there, and then there it is. So I was very happy to upgrade. Okay, so I'm just going to. Okay, let me just do a little bit more here. You know what? I'm just going to just finish inking in this main line, and then we'll definitely call it. I mean, I don't have that. I just have her legs to do. There. Okay. All right. So I guess we're going to stop her right here. I mean, it's not obviously finished. I still have to put in the thinner lines and the outer outline, and just to touch her up a bit. And but that's so. Here we go. So here's my Ishtar to go along with my Loki and my Eros, so that they could all be pains in the asses together. So that's fun. We talked about world building. We talked about character design. I think we had fun with it. So okay, let's okay. All right. So all right. And here we are at the end of all things, or at least the end of this live stream. So oh, there we go. Okay, hold on. Yeah, go make those comics. Go make those comics. Like I said, they're not gonna that anime intro in your head is not gonna do it for you. It's not gonna do it for you. So you actually have to sit down and make it. Yeah. You heard my little alarm going. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, so like I said, here we are. So I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you especially to Jake and Joe for keeping it interesting. And pretty much, and that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed my little commentary about everything, pretty much. And we're definitely going to do this again next Wednesday. Like I said, I'm going to do a music only stream either tomorrow or Friday, definitely sometime. No, probably not Friday. We're doing me, Randy, and Varian. We're doing a special edition of our Sunday Funny shows. Thank you. We're doing a special edition of our Sunday Funniest show. It's not going to be live. We're pre-recording, but I'm going to let them, fill you in on what we're doing, and that's so. Yeah, so it'll probably either be tomorrow. I'll do a music only live stream. So that's pretty much it. So like I said, hope you had a good time. As always, you want to check out more of my work for both EGORAVEN and Tall Tales, you can check everything out at EGOWorks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can read the first 5 issues of EGORAVEN for free. And you can find links to all of my social media. Some of which can be found here. You can, including the infamous gallery, House of Bob gallery that we talked about for a split second on the show. And also, if you prefer your fantasy to be more action adventure, there's also links to talltalesonline.com, TAILS, where you can read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. Coming soon on Kickstarter, that first volume for that. So we can all technically be on the same page now. So you all know what I'm talking about whenever I talk about Tall Tales now. It's like now you can just start. We can all start from the beginning. So, and also, sign up for my newsletter and everything on the websites. You get free comics when you do that. And that way also you don't miss any new information about the upcoming Kickstarters and all that fun stuff, because I know you guys always, want to be in the know with everything. So that's pretty much it. So I'm glad that that you were here. We had a good time, and I'll see you next Wednesday, and we can do this all over again, and hopefully I'll have something a little bit more different to draw for you. And that's pretty much it. So since we were able to fit in that Witcher clip, so let's go out with one more with some more immortal words to live by. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Valar Morghulis.
Valar du Heiris.